into some of the pregame routine stuff because this is another common thing, and I think it kind of plays into the, don't be a practice player, be able to perform in the game. So I got a few things I want to cover. It shouldn't take too long, but I want it to be something that kids can start to think about, kids that play junior can think about, and even higher levels than that can think about in their own way how it applies to their situation, because not everything's going to be the same in terms of a routine, because you're only getting so much buy-in at certain periods of time depending on the age, right? So first I just want to get maybe just some general thoughts on kind of what you think about having like a set pregame routine, like, and maybe like about how strict it could be, what the point of it is, and like that kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay. So I got a few things. I'm going to let you do a lot of the talking
Yeah,
here,
for sure.
but I not because I got a whole page of stuff that I wrote out. I don't want to keep looking down and trying to sort out, but
Yeah,
this is my initial thoughts. So pregame routine, that's important, but I think what's more important is a life routine. And it doesn't matter what age you are, so that keeps it very basic. So because the thing is that if you make Friday night game day like bigger than what it is, or you have a routine for that day, then that means you don't have a routine for the other days, and it's like a shock to the system. So I would say like it would be very important to have a routine. So what's a routine? Like for me, and I'm using me because I'm me. I know me the best. As I know that I have to go to bed at a certain time, or else I'm dog shit the next day for life, not for hockey, because I don't play hockey anymore. I teach it, but if I don't go to bed before 10 o'clock ish, I mean, there's exceptions. I'm toast. I'm shit, dog shit the next day. Okay, so that's one. So I know I need to go to bed. I wake up every single day somewhere between 4:30 and 5:30, no matter what. Today was a little bit later because I had late nights and stuff. So if I wake up later, my day is thrown off. So it's very important to go to bed early, get up early for me. I like to read just before I go to bed so that I get something in my head. It relaxes me, but I learn something. And then when I get out of bed, I drink water. I don't know if it helps or not, but it's a routine, and I know it's better for me than not. I can't tell in a day if I don't drink the water if it's hurting me or not, but I know that's my routine, and I know it's good for me. And then when I get to the gym or to work here, I work out within a certain time, and that starts my day. If I don't do my workout and sweat and get my blood moving, my day's not the same. It's just not. So and then if I end up sleeping in or something interferes with that routine, it throws my day off. Like I don't even know what time it is, right? So the bottom line is having a daily routine that's not crazy, just simple habits, just gets you you understand what time it is, and the flow of the day. It gets your body moving, gets your blood moving, and you're at, I guess, optimal performance. What I would say about a game day routine is, yeah, you might want to add a couple things. And is it important? Yeah, it's actually important, because you want your body to start on time. And like things like you said before was, you've said this is if you just start doing things that are different, or the first time you move is during the game, that's not good. So like having built-in habits on game day might help you. And a couple of things that I put, like, because I don't want to make this a real big deal, especially for our youth, is on game day though, is like maybe like just to get your body aware a little bit, is maybe the night before or the morning of, is you have that extra water or Gatorade. It's like, okay, I'm getting ready for game. Maybe it's you pack your bag early, carry a water bottle with you, or pack your bag early the night before or the day of, so that you're saying, oh yeah, I do have a game tonight, let's get going. Maybe it's 12 squats, 12 push-ups, maybe it's a walk, maybe it's a stretch, maybe it's something just to say, oh yeah, I'm moving today. And then eating, if you can, like, and there's a lot of things that go into routine that will get in the way, especially when you're young, is your parents have a big say in what your routine is going to look like, because you have school, and then your parents might work late, they might not have food, they might have too much food, they might not even understand. But the best you can is if you can eat roughly at the same time, and eat maybe the same thing, so that you're not eating and you got too much food in your body because you like food. If you know that this is what I eat for pre-games and stuff like that, that could be very helpful. But I just think I think the routines dial you in and keeps you in your best form. if
Yep.
that makes any sense.
Yeah,
What do
absolutely.
you think?
So e- everything you just said, I agree with. I think again, if I'm just like extracting out the principle of what you said, it's that it doesn't matter what age you are, it doesn't matter what you're doing. The body is a signaling machine, right? It's a we're creatures of habit. You like routine, whether you say you do or not. Because some people say like, "Oh, I don't like the same thing every day," and if you really analyze most of your days, you're basically doing the same things. What you're doing within the time buckets might vary a little bit, but generally you're going to be doing the same things. So whether that's a sleep routine, whether that's your work routine, whether it's a workout routine, whether it's how you eat, what time you eat, all those things, if you really analyze your life, you're going to have a lot of things that are happening at the same time every day. And that's not just an accident, right? That's our bodies are evolved for that. That's what happens, right? So whether and the best example of that is for because a lot of people that listen are parents. Remember when your kids were babies, they had a routine. They had a nap time, they had a eat time, they had a sleep time, they had all of that. And you know that if any of that was varied, the kid would have a fit or they would
Ruins mom and
whatever.
dad's day.
Exactly, right? And the routine changes over time,
Yeah.
but there's a routine.
Yep.
So that's the thing that you need to remember, and that's the best example of it as a baby. Now, as the kids get older, and as you get older, and whatever, you start to forget that the routine is still the base of what's going on, right? So one thing that I like how you said is like you want to have a life routine, and that's particularly important as you're an adult because you have enough future thinking to understand why that's important. For kids, it's harder to do because that's overwhelming to think I need my life to be the exact same when you're 10, right? So it doesn't have to be that serious, right? It can just be on the game day or leading up to the game day. You have a few things that are just triggers for your brain, right? So that's what I would say generally about why it's important because it's not even just about hockey. It's just the way the human body is. It's just a signaling machine. That's what it is. The routines trigger certain things at certain times. You want to go to bed at the same time, get up at the same time, eat at the same time. All of those things keep your body in sync or in rhythm, and that's not just woo woo. That is how the body works. That's how it is meant to function, right? And the more you start to mess with that, or you introduce things that you're not used to, your body has to figure out how to deal with that new stimulus because you haven't had it before, right? So when it comes, that's why routines in general are important. And that's why leading up to your game, it's important that it's not just the day of, it's the few days leading up, it's the
Yep.
week leading up,
Yeah.
or optimally, like you said, it's
Yeah.
an all the time thing.
Yeah, if you have good routines, like obviously the older you get, the more probably in control you can be of this stuff. Like for example, asking a great routine that most hockey players have is like early in the afternoon they take a nap. Well, you can't do that to a grade 6 or grade 7 because they're at school and they get home from school and they've got to shovel the driveway for their mom or whatever, and then you put some spaghetti in you and away you go to your game, right? That's typical kid, or you have, whatever. So that's different. But as a junior, you might be able to throw the nap in there. You might be able to read something like an article that is motivating. Not that I think motivation is the word I want to use, but something that inspires you or makes you dig deep and get your brain thinking, yeah, I'm a warrior, I'm a battler, right? It could be your mental, spending a little bit of time on your mental imagery. So putting all your senses, closing your eyes and hearing, seeing, feeling, smelling, everything in the arena and how you're going to play so you see success. That could be like, as you're older, that could be an everyday thing for a few minutes, or it could be game day or night before game day. Those are really good routines. So I think an imaging thing is something that a kid can do on the way to the game. He can do it the night before, but I think that's a really good habit to get into. It's, as Dr. Chandler said to us, it's the number one indicator of success for athletes is how much they image. And another thing that kids can do, like when you're young, is maybe it's a simple thing, like when you go to the rink, you're listening to a motivational or a song that pumps you up, or maybe it's a quote that you hear over and over. I remember when Charlie was a young kid, he memorized this when he was probably 8. It was the Rocky Balboa quote. But it's not about how many times you hit, it's how many times you can get hit and keep getting up. And he used to know that inside out. And as a dad, those were I think we're going to talk about that, how parents can help. But that was something that I did with my kid. It's like, it was never forcing routines on him. It was nudging him to think, right? So he would hear something that, that was like pretty cool, like something like that, and that stays in your brain
Yeah, and that's
forever.
the age appropriate thing is what's important, because you're only going to get so much buy-in. And what I don't want to do, kind of as we get into the parents part of it, is this isn't something that's meant to be crazy parent land now, where it's like you have to be so dialed in because it's going to matter for your performance. That's not what it's about. It's about the awareness, right? It's about being aware that what you do today, what you do yesterday, what you do the day before is going to affect your performance in the game later on, right? So it's having them understand that, and then just little things that prime them that way, right? Whether it could be a sleep thing, a nutrition thing, it could be like you said, a motivational thing, or imagery, or seeing themselves be successful. Those are all good habits that they can get into to develop something that works well for them, and as the parents, if you're the ones that are in control, you can, without them knowing, have them in a routine, right? And I'm not saying it's something you're forcing them to do, but it's just setting their day up where they start to understand that there's a routine.